Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Norwich Talk for another match preview. A match we are probably going into as Norwich City fans as fairly pessimistic, which I think is well justified at the moment. I'm sure Daniel Farke and co will be feeling optimistic about getting a point, maybe even three. But at the moment, it's kind of difficult to be a Norwich fan. It's unpleasant. It's embarrassing. But with a new game comes sort of new hope, really, doesn't it? Now, straight in with the lineup before I do any more waffling. I'm going with the back three, or the back five, whatever you want to call it. Three at the back during attacks, and five during defence, really, in theory, anyway. That's the formation I'm going with. Now, usually I'd go for more of a 3-4-3, as opposed to what Daniel Farke did against Liverpool, but that's how I think realistically he'll set up a three at the back. So I'm going to go with that, which is kind of like a 3-5-2 is what he went for, really, didn't he? So in goal, I'm keeping Tim Krul. I kind of feel bad for Angus Gunn against Liverpool because he got screwed over, really. I wasn't actually at the game, so I can't tell if he was good as a leader or a very good voice at the back. But in terms of the positions he found himself in, it was just kind of unlucky. The defence in front of him was not good at all, really, was it? Speaking of the defence, I've gone for Ozan Kabak, Andrew Omobamidele and Ben Gibson as my back three. Kabak comes back in after the Watford game. He looked okay against Watford, but equally he was very guilty of, I think it was the first goal, where he was just stood completely still, just totally ball watching. Again, I kind of give a bit more leverage to him in terms of it's his first game. Hopefully Daniel Farke will point that out to him and he'll be a bit more proactive when defending. But I do think there's a very good player there. On the ball, he looked very, very comfortable as a leader, very loud as well. Omobamidele gets in. Against Liverpool, he was okay, but against whoever it was he played against, I can't remember, but whoever it was, Arsenal, that's it. He was very good, and I dropped him. No, I didn't drop him. Sorry, Daniel Farke dropped him for the Watford game, which I thought was just unlucky. Ben Gibson, left-footed centre-back on the left side of defence, makes total sense, very confident on the ball. Again, someone who needs to step up the performance levels. I'm resting Grant Hanley because, and I'm not writing him off for the season. No, sir, I am not. But he needs a bit of a break because he's kind of being caught out. He's being twisted and turned a little bit too easily. The most of all the centre-backs at the moment. But absolutely he'll play a pivotal part this season. In terms of the wing-backs, I've gone for Max Aarons and Dimitris Giannoulis. Aarons, obviously, I thought Mumble was okay against Liverpool. It's obviously got to be Max Aarons, that's all you need to say. Giannoulis gets in because I think this formation is really sort of fruitful for a defender who can attack very well, and Giannoulis is exactly that. He's okay at defending, and I think with Ben Gibson literally sort of just directly behind him, he'll be a bit better. But going forward, he's superb. He's confident on the ball. He presses very high up the pitch, which he did against Liverpool very, very well, actually. He won the penalty brilliantly, didn't he? Max Aarons does it as well, but is a bit more of a well-rounded defender. So I'm looking forward to potentially seeing that because I think it could be very good for Norwich. This formation really relies on your wing backs to stretch the game, and we know in a four back they can do it. So in a game where potentially they'll have the license to do whatever they want in an attacking sense, it's quite exciting. Giannoulis going forward, as I said, very good. He's so good on the ball. He's just a very good dribbler. He's very quick as well. I think his pace is kind of underrated, and I know for a fact that once that final ball is perfected by him, whether that's a drilled ball across the box or whatever, it could be very fruitful for Norwich City. In terms of the midfield three, I've gone for Mathias Normann, Billy Gilmour, PLS Milot. I think as a three, that's ideal, really, to be honest with you. Now, I said earlier, usually I go for a 3-4-3, which is what I would do, but kind of looking at the injuries and absentees at the moment, I don't think you can really cater to that. And I think maybe Daniel Farke realises that. So, for example, Todd Cantwell's out for personal reasons. Milot Rashica is a doubt for the game, so I've not put him in my lineup. Spoiler alert for the front two. I've not put him in my lineup. He might make the bench. I'm not actually sure. So I'm going with the three in the middle, and I think Norman, Les Malou, and Gilmour are kind of, again, on paper, the ideal three. I'm still yet to be fully convinced by Billy Gilmour, but do you know what? It's the same for the entirety of the team at the moment. It's just on paper, I do wonder whether he's the perfect fit for Norwich City or whether he's just a very good footballer in a team that maybe he isn't particularly well suited to. Please feel free to crucify me for that in the comments after he plays a 10 out of 10 on the weekend. I look forward to that. Norman in this formation, again, I think will have a bit more success. With the three centre-backs, theoretically, he shouldn't have to Well, he should really, but he shouldn't have to cover as much because the three centre backs between them should kind of sort that out amongst themselves. If you know what I mean, it's a bit vague, but I can't really think of a better way to put it. Because when there's two defenders and there's crosses coming in from wherever, whenever, it's kind of difficult. Whereas with three, you've got three people who are meant to be specialists at putting their head on the ball, which is ironic because against Liverpool, I think 2 of the 3 goals were from headers, weren't they? Or from crosses, which is just hilarious. But I think Norman will have a bit more success. It relieves a bit of pressure. On the ball, I think he looks really good. His pass to Pukki against Watford was phenomenal. I think that's what Norwich City should be doing, giving the ball to Teemu Pukki in those sort of through ball situations, because he will score goals. We saw in the Championship, it was kind of 50-50. He'd have about 3 or 4 chances a game. He'd score 1 or 2 and then miss the others. But as long as you're giving him chances, he will score you goals. It's as simple as that. Les Milot, yeah, a real character, it seems, on the pitch. You know, he was the only one who really put up a fight against Liverpool. He was here, there, everywhere. Missed an absolute sitter, but I do forgive that because his performance levels are decent. And I think, as you can see on the graphic here, he'll be the more advanced of the 3. Billy Gilmour, for about 15 to 20 minutes in the first half, he did exactly what I wanted him to do. And I think with his passing range, it will suit the wing-backs. Because, you know, when he gets on the ball, he's very good at just the simple passes. But that's not really his specialty, is it? It's just switching the play from wherever he is on the pitch. And I think when you've got high-flying wing-backs, that's exactly what they want. And it could lead to an early cross, could lead to getting to the byline, drilling it across. But that is where I think we'll see Billy Gilmour come good for Norwich City. Now, up front, I've gone for Teemu Pukki. Teemu Pukki has to go in. He's going to score goals this season. I think Josh Sargent is fully fit. So we might see Pukki and Sargent in sort of literally like a 2-man striker situation, which I wouldn't complain about. But I've gone for Christos Jolis next to him, which after the whole sort of penalty debacle. Now, I spoke to someone who was at the game, and because I didn't see it myself, the kind of faffing around with the penalty, and apparently it wasn't actually that bad, but Farke was, from the quotes I read, I haven't actually watched him say it, but from the quotes, he was kind of fuming, and I read Connor's press conference tweets today, and I think he said, someone asked about how that had gone down, and whether he'd got a response from Jolis, and Farke just smiled. So I think for Jolis, this could be a perfect opportunity for him to just be like, yep, this is what I'm about. Calm yourself down, Daniel. I'm going to show you how good I am. I apologise for taking the penalty, but I'm going to go shred the league now. And I think the dynamic between Pukki and Jolis could work, because you've kind of got your muscle and your physicality in Les Milot and Norman. You've got your width in Aarons and Giannoulis. You've got your finisher in Teemu Pukki. Next to him, with Josh Sargent, where maybe away from home, it's a bit more practical, it's a bit more pragmatic. Sorry, not practical. But with Jolis, you've got your magic, haven't you? Now, we haven't really seen him in full flow at Norwich, but he's 19 years old, and quite clearly he's a very brave player. You've got to be brave to take a penalty off someone else, haven't you? Not brave enough to score it, but you need that magic. And I think on the ball, he will be good. And I think you need a bit of creativity. And for as much as I like that midfield 3, there isn't that much creativity. As much as I like the wing backs, there's not really a creative spark, is there? Max Aarons isn't going to go and twist and turn 4 or 5 players, is he? He's going to get down the line and drill it across. With Jolis, you don't know, and as a defender, I guess it's kind of a nightmare, really. So I think that could work well. But that is my 11. Now, the final comment is Everton have had a decent start, but I am mildly optimistic of a point for Norwich. I'm not going to say we're going to win on video anyway. I think Norwich could get a point out of this one. Away from home, I think this formation could be suited, because this formation for me isn't really a possession-based formation, and Daniel Farke this season has clearly set out Norwich to be counter-attacking. So away from home against an opposition where you could actually get a point. It's not Man City, it's not Liverpool, it's not Arsenal, it's not Leicester even. This counter-attacking style could really, really work. And I think someone like Rashica next to Pukki could have been great, because he's, just very powerful, isn't he? I always say he's powerful. That's something I always say about Rashica. But again, he's a doubt for the game. Everton have had 3 wins, a draw and a loss so far, but which is a good start, and fair play to them. I kind of questioned some of their signings, like Damari Gray and Andros Townsend. I thought, is that kind of where you want to be going if you're Everton? Because I remember under Ancelotti, it was, can they challenge for top 6? And all of a sudden, the situation has changed. Now he's gone back to Real Madrid. They've got Benitez in, but they've scored goals, to be fair. Comparing it to Norwich's start, which obviously has been abysmal, they've played Southampton, Leeds, Brighton, Burnley, Villa, which is considerably different to Manchester City, Liverpool twice, Leicester, a fully fit Arsenal. Notice how I have to say a fully fit Arsenal rather than just Arsenal now, and Watford. So as Daniel Farke said in his pre-match press conference, they're only 3 points behind where they plan to be, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I'd like to know your comments. I'd like to know your comments. I would. I'd like to know your 11 in the comments, maybe your thoughts on mine as well. If you've enjoyed this video, if you can enjoy Norwich City content at the moment, a little thumbs up would be appreciated. If you want to subscribe too, I would absolutely love that. I think we're 7 away from 1.5k. Desperate to get to that goal. Why? I don't really know. Just a nice number, isn't it? 1.5k subs. Thanks for everyone for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon.